what's the difference between absentee and universal mail-in voting? So they left the universal off of that, so that's misleading. What's the difference between absentee ballot and universal mail-in ballots, right?
Okay.
So let's break this down, right? Voters will be mailed a ballot regardless of whether they are in town or absent from their polling precinct on election day. That means this is universal balloting, right? And why universal balloting is a problem is you're going to mail it out to people who may not even be living at those addresses anymore, right? Yeah. Somebody else is going to get the ballot and they may open it and then vote and send it in. That's fraud. Or someone who passed away and they were living with their child could possibly take it, open it, vote and vote twice, vote 3 times because there's a couple of different people in the family and they send it in. All of this is fraudulent. It's potential fraud, right? And the Democrats are pushing this. Now, when I found out that a certain mob boss helped JFK get elected by having certain people who have been dead vote. You know, this has been going on for a while, right? But of course, that had to happen in a way and his assassination had to happen in a way because if Johnson hadn't become president, we wouldn't be sitting here talking to you now in the way that we're talking to you now. There wouldn't be 64, 65, 68 because Kennedy would have found a way to extend it out and say the next guy, the next Democrat will be able to do it. Kind of like what we've been talking about.
What we're going through today.
Exactly. But just so happens, what's up to Stuart Elsie watching, right?
Stu and Algie.
Right. So look. So that is universal mail-in ballots, right? We're going to show you the difference, right? Again, voters will be mailed a ballot regardless of whether they're in town or absent from their polling precinct on election day. Absentee ballots, the voter requests a ballot outside of polling precincts, right? The person may have a disability, or he or she is in the armed forces, or the person may be out of town and wants to cast the vote absentee. You see, so they are calling for it. So it's one ballot and it's being mailed out to them because they have already informed the election board that they will be an absentee. Right? That they will be an absentee. And so that's what they have shown, right? Universal ballots go out no matter if the person requests a ballot or not. The excuse is COVID-19 for proponents of universal balloting, right? The opponents of it say fraud is most definitely going to happen because the voter rolls whose eligibility or whose past have not been cleaned up, so many ballots will be delivered to dead persons, right? And that opens up the door, and that opens it up for people to cast votes for dead people, representing as if they're that person, while voting with their own ballot, which is fraud, right? The media is lying to you. Before I brought this, I thought this in my head. The media is lying to you about a lot of things, right? And they are lying to you about this, right? The media lies when they say universal ballots out to people who don't request a ballot and absentee ballots where an individual requests a ballot to vote outside of the polling precinct are the same. That is not the same. That is not the same. So when you're seeing this argument on the news, we have to clear it up for you because the news media is lying to you because the news media started saying just this week after the Democratic convention over the weekend that Biden's involvement in the '88 crime bill, in the drug abuse bill, and the 1994 crime bill had nothing to do with mass incarceration. They're also the same people who told you when you were watching MSNBC and CNN that this was the best convention and that Biden's speech was so inspirational and that Michelle Obama's speech was so great and that the presentation was the greatest they ever seen. Matter of fact, your girl, I'm being facetious, your girl, Jo, she used to be called Joanne Reed when she was representing her immigrant status, but now she's Joy Reid. Your girl Joy Reid was like, Jill Biden was so good. She was so folksy. She reminded me like she was my mother.
Oh yeah, she did say that. And her mother, Joanne Reed's mother, passed away. Correct?
She's dead.